Hello there, Point Pleasant, and happy Friday. It's another episode of the Ocean Star Sports Show. I'm your host, sports reporter Dominic Polio. It was Rivalry weekend here in Point Pleasant, but before we get to those highlights, I've got one girls basketball highlight for you to check out. It's the Point Borough girls basketball team who hosted the Barnegat Bengals on senior night last Thursday. Let's see who came out with the win. Thursday was an exciting night for Point Borough as they celebrated lone senior Amy Burnquist on senior night with a 57-44 win over the Barnegat Bengals. Burnquist chipped in 5 points in the win for the Panthers. It was a slow start for both teams, with the first quarter going 4.5 minutes without a score. Megan Hughes ended the drought with this layup, and the game was officially underway. The Panthers jumped out to a 10-6 lead after this three-pointer from Riley Sexton before the end of the first. The Bengals hung tough and battled back in the second quarter, eventually pulling within 1 point of Borough on this drive to the hoop. Hughes then answered with a layup to keep Borough ahead by 3 at the half. The third quarter was huge for the Panthers as they capitalized on their defense with some tough-made shots. Here's an and one play from Devin Wondolowski, and then throw some style points to Hughes for this backward shot under the hoop. Heading into the final quarter, the Panthers had built a 40-19 lead. Borough was able to stick it out despite a surge from Barnegat. Head coach David Drew eventually got around to subbing out his senior, and Burnquist received a well-deserved round of applause and cheers from the fans. The subs then closed out the 13-point win for the Panthers. And there you have it, folks, a win for Point Borough on senior night. Again, congratulations to Amy Burnquist. It's easy to see how much of an impact you make as a player and a teammate in the short year I've covered you. Congrats again. Now, on to what you've all been waiting for, the brawl at the beach, the Beach Borough rivalry, the Battle of Point Pleasant, whatever you want to call it. I've got the highlight. Point Beach Wrestling versus Point Borough Wrestling on the mats last Friday night. Check it out. The stage was set Friday, and it was Point Beach versus Point Borough on the wrestling mats in this year's Battle of Point Pleasant. As always, it did not disappoint, and a capacity crowd can attest to that. The crosstown rivalry match kicked off with a Borough win from Blake Dale over Jude Lovegren, 5'2" in the 120-pound weight class. Borough freshman Spencer Robinson then tacked on 4 more with a major decision win over Jared Holer in 126. The 132-pound bout between Beach's Roddy Rupp and Borough's John McTaggart was one to see, as Rupp was the favorite, but McTaggart jumped out with a 3-0 lead. Rupp was unable to recover despite this late third-period reversal, losing the bout by decision. With the Panthers out in front 10-0, Dylan Davies really got the crowd going with this first pin of the match. 30 seconds into the 138-pound bout, he got the better of Danny Savage to secure 6 points for Borough. But of course, this is a rivalry, so the goals were not going to sit idly by. Beach senior John Finnerty came out in the 145-pound weight class and had no trouble beating Matt Humans by major decision. Fellow senior Giancarlo Crivelli followed suit, beating Borough's Cortland Hackle 12-4 for another 4 points. Brandon DeFeo was up for Borough against Jimmy Sherlock in the 160-pound bout. He managed to come out on top 8-4. Borough had made it through the heart of Beach's lineup without succumbing to a pin, which only spelled good news for the Panthers. Gene Francischini then made easy work of Ryan Franzoni in 170 with a 9-1 victory, adding 4 more points for Borough. With the score at 23-8 in favor of the Panthers, Jack Baker came out for the goals, a man on a mission. He never gave up a point to Ryan Sansone in the 182-pound bout, winning by tech fall 16-0, but again, Borough managed to avoid a pin. Beach kept grinding, though, and with a decision win from Cody Ligori over Borough's Billy Borowski, they had pulled within 23-16. But here comes the big man for Borough. Dominic Infante in the 220-pound weight class wasted little time before he cradled and pinned Cade Watkins to increase the Panthers' lead. Beach's heavyweight Forrest Gardner answered with a decision win over Anthony Bonavito, and the score sat in favor of Borough 29-19. With a chance to clinch in the 106-pound bout. Borough's Ben Sabo did just that, leaving no doubt as to Friday's victor with a 7-0 decision win over Will Jarvis. Tyler Tweedy beat out Beach's Dominic Waldman 14-1 in the final bout, bringing the final score to 36-19, with your Point Borough Panthers as champions of this year's Battle of Point Pleasant. I've said it before and I'll say it again, nothing beats that atmosphere. The energy was absolutely amazing in that gymnasium. Shout out to the Panther Pit and the Gulls Nest for representing your squads. And shout out to the wrestling teams for putting on a great show. Now, as I said earlier, it was a rivalry weekend. That means the show did not stop after Friday's wrestling match. That's right, the Battle of Point Pleasant Part 2. Point Borough boys basketball versus Point Beach boys basketball for the first time since 2006. I've got the highlight. It was Saturday afternoon. It was a great, exciting game. So let's see who won Part 2. Call it the Battle of Point Pleasant Part 2 between the buckets as Point Beach and Point Borough tipped off Saturday afternoon in front of another packed house. This time, Point Beach came out the victor with a 59-52 win in another exciting matchup from start to finish. The first point of the game came on a Pat Feehan free throw, and the next two came from Matt Van Ostrand on this fadeaway jumper. Borough jumped out with a quick 5 points after a steal and two, but the Gulls were just getting started. Jimmy Panzini scored for Beach, and then Trevor Covey followed suit. After another stop, it was Covey again, this time from downtown in the corner, and Beach takes the lead. They pushed out a 17-7 lead at quarter's end and then piled on 15 more points in the second quarter. Borough added 10 to their total, but at the half, it looked like Beach could run away with it, up 32-17. Now, it would not be a proper rivalry if things didn't get exciting, so here come the Panthers, who finally decided to show up in the third quarter. They had the Gulls tied down, putting up 23 third-quarter points behind Van Ostrand, Jack Waddleton, and John Duda. With seconds to go in the third, Point Borough pulled within 4 on this Devon Dragon jumper. But it was Mike Rice who struck for Beach from beyond the arc to keep a 7-point lead with 1 quarter to go. The fourth quarter was a back-and-forth affair before the Panthers pulled within 3 on this shot. Panzini then teamed up with Alex Brusick for this lay-in to give themselves a little breathing room. A foul put Van Ostrand on the charity stripe, and he connected to bring the Panthers back within 3 points. On Beach's turn, it was Danny Fraunheim who was fouled. He went to the line and he hit 2 of 2 to stay out of reach. Then Panzini snags a steal, checked the behind the back, and to the bucket he goes as the crowd senses the end is near. Borough hit a 3, but Beach closed out the game at the foul line to take the win over Borough and part 2 of the Battle of Point Pleasant. And there you have it, sports fans. Point Beach takes the game between the buckets, and Point Borough won it on the mats, bringing a close to this year's Battle of Point Pleasant, Part 1 and Part 2. It was so much fun to cover those 2 games. I hope you guys had as much fun participating, and I hope it comes back next year. That's it. That's all the highlights I have for you for this week. But remember, there's always more sports in the actual newspaper, so make sure you pick up today's copy of the Ocean Star. Read that sports section from front to back. There's a bunch of good sports in there. You can count on it. You can follow me on Twitter at Dompolio. That's at DOMPOLLIO for all sports updates, Point Pleasant High School sports. I'd like to thank you guys for stopping by and checking out the show. All I've got to say is, na 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 na, na 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 na, hey hey hey, goodbye. Reporting for Star News Group, I'm Dominic Polio, wishing you a happy weekend.